Welcome to Loving Me Before I Love You with Tammy Nicole, the podcast dedicated to you loving and putting yourself first. Others have come first in your life for years, and you know it's time for that to change. You're about to be empowered to set healthy boundaries, confidently have hard conversations, unapologetically put yourself first, and live the peaceful life you deserve. Remember, self-love is essential, and loving yourself sets the stage for every other love in your life. So get ready to embrace self-love like never before with your host, Coach Tammy Nicole.
Hey. It is Transformation Tuesday over at Loving Me Before I Love You. I am super excited, you guys. You know, we've been talking on the month of February for the month of love. All month long, we're doing everything regarding love, and today is no different. We are going to be talking about the differences between dating and courting. I think a lot of us think we know the difference, but we really don't. If we say we're old school, we say we're courting, and if we're new school, we say we're dating, but there is a difference, and we can be doing both in the same time. No, new and old school can do them all together. But I have a special guest with me. I have a friend. He is the love coach of Atlanta. He is the relationship guru. He loves to put people together to make love a magical thing. His none other than Mr. Kelvin Troy Johnson. I am so excited to have you on the show. It's like a long time awaiting. We've been trying to get together. And we are finally doing it.
We're finally here. We're finally here, Coach Tammy. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be on your platform. You're making it happen, and I'm excited for this conversation and everything that's going to happen here. So let's go.
Too. Me too. I mean, because like when we talk about dating, right, it's like that's the big thing that's happening right now. Everybody's on somebody's dating app. Everybody's trying to go out and meet someone, and then they are not doing it right? So that's why we still out here. That's why they say it's pee in the pool. Yeah. But it's mainly because people don't realize dating is a skill. It's not just a thing.
It is. That's a fact. That's a fact. I always talk about it like, our grandparents met and got together because, they lived across the street from each other. They walked a mile uphill in the snow, and when school was over, it was like, John, hey, there's Mary. Why don't y'all just get together? You already know each other. We know each other's family. We go to church together. Y'all should get you married. And that's how they got married, But fast forward to 2025, you've got a million. You got Mary, you got Susie who lives over there. You got, Jan, on and on and on. And there's so many options until people just get confused and don't choose.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But what's the difference? What is the difference between dating and courting?
Okay, so dating, I know some of you guys might have heard it. Dating is collecting data, right? It's the idea of putting together the puzzle of, is this going to look right for us? Are we together going to be a good picture together, right? It's going and it's really just kind of exploring. It can be light. Right. I got some clients who I got one client that used to be the Friday night girl. Right. And she thought, well, we see each other every Friday night. I guess we're dating. That is until she found out he had a Thursday night girl, too. And, because of that, it was like, oh, well, wait a minute. How could this happen? Well, this happened because you were just dating, you are not courting.
So for you, courting becomes, I won't even say the committed relationship, but it becomes a little bit more exclusive. Like,
yes,
we're doing this intentionally together.
Intentional is the word. Intentional is the word. The word is do we have an agreement that we are together? People, look, sometimes if you were the Friday night girl long enough, you start thinking that you got a commitment.
Yeah, absolutely.
but unless the person explicitly said, or you, there was a conversation that says, this is what it is. This is what we're doing. It is still just dating, and dating is not intentional
or committed.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of times people get confused with the two because they have, again, as I mentioned earlier, decided that the word dating and the word courting is an error versus a real thing. You know what I mean? Like, you said courting back in the day. That's what but that's dating for us now. Like courting, you know what I mean? Versus it being two real things.
Yes.
That are transitional.
Yes.
And transactional.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
They're really two separate things. And I want to speak from a standpoint of both men and women, but separately.
Mm-hmm.
When a woman is dating, what do you think her position should be? Position/posture in that phase? Okay.
In the dating phase, and this is something, you guys, that I talk to my clients about. I make sure, intentionally make sure they understand. If you're seeing a guy, right? For one thing, let's start from the beginning. If you're on the dating apps and they ask, like, Kel, how do you feel about the dating apps? I love the dating apps. You know, I love that wide reach, you know, and we now have more information about people before we get involved with them than we ever have in human history. Okay. So if having that be the case,
the truth.
you know what I mean? Like you can basically do your investigation on a person even before the first date. You know, you don't even have to wait to the first date to happen for it to come out. So you get to know them. I tell all my clients, look, if you find somebody you like, you guys are trading messages on the apps, do not go out on the date without seeing them first on FaceTime.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And it don't have to be FaceTime. It's Google Meet too. Do something that shows them visually that they are the picture on the on the app.
That's correct. Video chat of some sort has to happen before you agree to a whole afternoon. Because look, a lot of these things, a lot of these conflicts that people have in dating comes because they didn't know who they were getting involved with.
Absolutely.
They didn't get enough information to decide whether this was even worth their time or not. Right. And so you get on the date and find out that, like, all she wants to do is take pictures of herself, have you pay for dinner, and she just wants to, you know, to be seen on Instagram at this nice content. Restaurant. Yes, you are part of her content strategy. You know, but you would have known that if you took your time and had a conversation with her prior about all of this, and just taking it slow and doing video chat and all that sort of thing before taking your time and going out in person.
So her posture should be to really collect the data from a standpoint from afar in the beginning. Like, don't just be such in a rush to be fed.
Yes. Collect the data, like get to know him. And like, I mean, you don't have to ask all the deep questions, because some of this you do want to see them in person and see how they respond.
Absolutely.
To the questions. Okay. But collect the data, right? You can ask some basic questions. You know,
what's the most important ones though before going on a date?
Most important ones. Are you married? Is there anyone in your life who thinks that they're in a relationship with you or married to you? Okay. Very important question. You know,
Absolutely.
are you even interested in a relationship?
That part.
Because they might just be interested in a one night relationship.
A situationship.
A situationship.
Yeah.
You know, a one night stand, a good hot fiery night, you know.
Yeah.
Or they might be a person who, let's say, they're just not in alignment with who you are. So any of those questions that really get to the heart of, is this worth us getting together?
Right. So you just said something that was very for me, and that is alignment.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times, so over here, you know, I talk and teach self-love all day because I'm a believer that if you don't have the first relationship with you, having a relationship with someone else, it's kind of like, why are we doing this?
That's a fact.
So when you said alignment, of course, that's like a bell ringer word for my platform, and being in alignment with yourself is important to understand how to align with someone else.
That's a fact.
And so I'm very big on, when you asking these questions, that the question should come from a space of alignment, so that you know if it's worth your time. But that alignment always has to come from a space of boundaries, morals, values, and goals.
Yes.
Where are you headed? Because a lot of times when we get into these dating and courtships, we kind of throw where we're headed down on the ground to understand where the person who we're interested in, who we're attracted to, is headed first. And then we turn around and try to mold our direction into their direction just because we're attracted and want to make the puzzle fit. And so those are two pieces that may look like they're in the same arena and background, but they're not in the same place. Like, right. When you see a picture and you see it of a neighborhood and you're like, oh, that house looks like mine, but it's not on my street. So it don't fit. It just looks alike.
It just looks alike. That's a fact. That's a fact.
And so I'm always, big on that as a thing. Like, if you really are trying to get into a relationship as a whole, the one with yourself is more important so that you can know if that one that you're trying to attract and trying to get into actually aligns with where the heck you're going. And I feel like women, we feel like our destination at times is not as important as the man because he's now the head. He's supposed to lead. He's supposed to guide. And it's like where we were headed no longer matters. And I'm like, flag on the play. The street runs in two different directions all the time. Find somebody on the same direction. You don't have to find somebody that's just going anywhere.
That's a fact.
And you just want to join the train.
That's a fact. That's a fact. In my book that I wrote, Secrets of the Mind of a Man, How Men Think When It Comes to Dating, Relationships, and Love, I talk about hearing, and this is from the man's perspective, hearing if a man sees you in his future. That was one of the top questions I would always get. How do I know if a man sees me in his future? Right. And to me, it's all in the language.
The we.
It's the we. What are we doing? Are us, it's we, it's together. It's all the language that lets you know, oh, we are a collective. Right. So it's in the language, and Coach Tammy, it's in the futuristic side of the language.
Absolutely.
Right? Is there conversation about what we're going to do together in the future? And the future could just be Thanksgiving.
Right.
You know
what's so interesting about that? Like, I was dating this guy, and we were talking about futuristic stuff, but his language was always self-absorbed. And that was like the real flag for me. I was like, oh, okay. Oh, okay. That's what and when. Okay.
When you say self-absorbed, tell me more about that.
It was about him, his desires, and what he wanted. So he was talking about building a home. He was like, oh, I want to find land. I'm going to build a home. And when I build this house, it's going to be to my specifications, blah, blah, blah. But we're in this conversation together, right? So So my question was, okay, I'm going to exclude myself on purpose to see if he includes me on purpose. Right. So my response to him was, okay, so when you find a woman who you want to spend the rest of your life with, is she just supposed to join on the bandwagon, or do you ask her, what does she want? What does she need? Etc. And he was like, oh no, she'll just need to, I mean, if she's coming over here, she would just need to fit where she falls in. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's something that you haven't built yet.
Exactly.
It's something that and you're here actively seeking women.
Yeah.
So you're looking for a spouse before you even obtain a piece of land. And your mindset is she just got to jump in and get in where she fits in.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't even have the mindset to be finding a woman because she don't matter. She's not a part of your plan.
But wait a minute, Coach Tammy. There is a woman who wants to do that.
That's a good one. You're right about that. There's some of us out here that will do that. That will just jump in on his plan and keep it moving.
She's looking for a man with a plan, and a man where she can just this is the new buzz term, Coach Tammy. She's going to rest in her femininity, and just let him do everything, so she can just come in and everything be all taken care of, just to be taken care of.
But
and rescued by the prince,
right?
Aww.
But when we talk about resting in our soft era and being feminine, that has nothing to do with not having an opinion or any kind of say so whatsoever. I think we just want to feel covered. We want to feel guided and led. And when you have a strong man that can lead, it allows us to rest in feminine. It allows us to not to be submissive to X, Y, and Z. It don't take away our brain, though. It doesn't take away our opinions. It doesn't take away, our insight, because as being the woman and being the helpmeet, the helpmate, it's our job to be observant and provide information.
That's a fact.
It's our job to give to the equation. But if you already don't want no input.
Yes. Look, for some of these guys, and probably that guy, he's probably cool with her coming in with the decorating ideas. After I set it all up, now you can come in and do the decorating.
Interior design.
Interior design. You do what you're going to do. I'm doing what I'm doing, or whatever. And you know what? I don't even blame that guy, right? He just has to find the woman who fits that kind of category.
Absolutely.
And he's going to live happily ever after. Now, if he try to force a square peg in a round hole, he going to have a fight on his hands, and then things go how they go, so, I read this, I grabbed this statistic, Coach Tammy. It said studies show that people with clear relationship goals are 25% more likely to form lasting connections because they're intentional in their choices.
Absolutely.
25% more likely to have for it to work.
I agree with that. I agree with it because I feel like intentionality is the real key to the success, because I'm focused on what I really want. And then I'm making choices and decisions based upon what those intentions are. When people say I'm going with the flow, that makes my skin crawl just a little bit, just a little bit, because I think there's a small dynamic of what going with the flow really. Like you should do that organically, allow that relationship to evolve, but there has to be intentions behind even getting to that space.
Yes. You
know what I mean? So it's like, don't say when someone's like on the dating app and you're like, oh, what are you looking for? And it's like, oh, I just want a friend and see what happens. And it's like, no. No. It does become a red flag real fast.
Yeah.
Because it's like, but what are you really looking for? And I think we do need vocabulary. And I say that because I know you talk about the language of a man, but I think that we do speak two different languages, and words that mean one thing to us as women mean something totally different to a man. And it's like we miss out on great connection and opportunity because of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Words. Now give me some words that mean something different to a woman than what means to a man. Give me an example of that.
Okay. So
how about we together? What you mean?
I mean, right. That part. I mean, or even the go with the flow statement.
Mm-hmm.
It means two different things. Like sometimes we as women can take go with the flow as we are progressing and moving intentionally in this thing for X, Y, and Z.
Hence
and
the
a man
flow.
is like, right. and the man is like, well, I'm just doing what I want to do. Like, I'm not, there is no order or structure to this thing here. And I'm just doing it, which is like really two different things to us. Like, oh, you're not going with the flow with me. You're just going with the flow in life. So if you with me today and tomorrow you're going to be with so-and-so doing the same go with the flow. And it's like, wait a minute. So you're not really like focused on me. You're focused on 3 other people.
Yeah. And seeing how things go. Seeing how things go. That's definitely something. And with men, you guys know I was a men's counselor for many years and still now men's coach. And, sometimes a man won't say those intentional things because he doesn't want to be boxed in, by his words. He knows you're listening to what he said.
Ooh,
and
he
doesn't want you to bring it back up a little later on that you said, so he's very intentional on saying, let's just see how things go. Right. Let's see how things progress, which in on the surface, it seems like a good answer. Let's just see how things go. Let's see how things flow.
Yeah.
But then the question is, okay, so how many times are you expecting to hear from me?
Nobody goes that deep, right?
Yeah. Should I be expecting? Should I text you? Should you be texting me? Who should text who? Should I be texting you? Should I expect you to text me in the morning? Hello, beautiful. Good morning. Whatever it is, right? Or is it okay if I go a whole day and don't hear from you, right? So this is so this is the confusion in that blanket statement of going with the flow. There are no specifics in going with the flow. Why? Because you're just going with the flow.
Yeah. Which becomes problematic in the end. I always tell people you have to communicate your expectations, no matter what they are. But do expectations come in the phase of courting, or do they come in the phase of dating? When is it okay to share what your requirements are?
Yeah. I like needs more than the word
requirements.
Yes, because requirements sound they sound square. They sound locked in.
They sound corporate.
They sound corporate. Yeah, and but needs are different. Needs are this is my cup, and I need you to pour this specific thing into this cup. Okay. And so it gives you more of a more specific. So that's what this whole thing is, right? It's like a funnel. Mm-hmm. And you start with a wide funnel and you slowly come down to a point where,
the neck.
Yes, and the neck is, will you marry me? And we going down the aisle, but at the top of that funnel is pretty wide open. But the idea is, the real idea of the going with the flow is supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be getting smaller as we chisel this thing down to get to closer and closer, building emotional intimacy all the way through there, and that's how you get there.
You just said emotional intimacy, which is like, the big buzzword of social media podcasts, everything is emotional intelligence. Now,
Yes.
I have a thing about emotional intelligence, emotional maturity, which is two different things. But emotional intimacy. Talk more about what that means and how does someone recognize if it's existing, developing, all of those things within an actual relationship.
Yeah. So when we talk about emotional intimacy, we're talking about the development. It's almost like a rose, the rose slowly opens as it gets the nutrition and the nourishment that it needs. All right. So it's that slow opening that gives it as it gets fed, it matures, and boom, the next thing you know, you got a beautiful rose. Right. Emotional intimacy is pouring into that rose, pouring into that relationship, and giving it the nutrition that it needs to grow, right? For you might need calls, and you might need that call in the morning. You might need that emotional, hey, beautiful, how you doing? I was just checking on you. Hey, handsome, I was checking on you to see if you ate today. Believe it or not, right? Some people don't really understand that even for men, you checking to see if he ate today.
It's important.
It's important, right? Fixing him something to eat. Now, I know, he drove past Popeyes. He drove past Zaxby's. Yes, he can get some fried chicken from over there and they make it good, KFC, right? But there's nothing like coming home and knowing that somebody made that fried chicken for you.
Correct.
Somebody's got vegetables for you. Somebody has, the mashed potatoes for you.
Right.
Somebody for men, that just means somebody cares about me.
Correct.
And for ladies, you know how you feel when a guy brings you flowers. I know one lady one time I know of a lady. She said I was never a flower person. Until this man started bringing me flowers. And I started seeing how the flowers in my house changed the energy of my house. Just coming in, seeing fresh flowers on the table literally changed the whole vibe of the house. And he did that. Okay. So and for a guy, he just thinking, oh, well, I just stopped over there and got some flowers. But you don't know, this is building emotional intimacy, so that you are filling that person's emotional cup in a way that really only you can do.
Yeah, that's a good point though, because I think a lot of times when you don't know some stuff that you really desire or that would be like exciting or whatever, because I'm not necessarily a flower girl either. I growing up thinking about getting flowers, I'm like, flowers die. Give me something that's gonna last. I actually was on the app the other day and scrolled through something. I was like, oh, he's attractive, he got this and this, and he had like a poll on his profile, and it was like flowers, a card, and candy. Choose one. And I immediately choose card.
Okay.
Like, it's my thing because
interesting.
I love cards, but on top of them, I can keep them. Like, my mom passed away. It'll be 22 years on the 14th.
Okay.
And when I tell you, I can still go into a box of cards that she gave me. When Valentine's come on the 14th, she'd pass on Valentine's Day, and she was a big Valentine's Day girl.
Okay.
I can pull these cards out right now and read them, and they still got her handwriting in them. And she's no longer here.
Yeah.
So they are long lasting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they give words most of the time, because I'm not going to say all the time when somebody reads a card, they be like, this is exactly how I feel. So this is what I'm getting you. But typically when you read the card, it resonates with you and on some level that says either this is perfect for the person I'm giving it to, or this is really how I feel in general, still to the person that I'm giving it to. Yeah. So it's something that's like there forever. Yeah. But a flower is going to die. Candy you going to eat and it's going to be gone. You're going to forget what kind of candy it was in 2 weeks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But a card lasts forever.
Tammy, you know what I like about that? And I like what that guy did there, So what you have is 3 different kinds of people, right? Now, what the thing that you just said about the cards, everything that you just said was true for you. for the next person, they'll be like, you know what? For them to bring me some candy. I love candy, and it just makes me feel sweet on them. When I think of something sweet, and I think of them as that, did this sweet gesture, got me some this big box of Stovers or what's the other one? The Whitman sampler. They got me a big box of Whitman sampler, and Whitman sampler had this kind and that kind and all kinds and all, you know what I mean? And it made me think about them. Listen, it doesn't matter for how long, right? It doesn't matter for how long, because it's not about the object itself. It's about what it represents to you. Okay.
And the giver.
Yes. So everyone is different. So if you want to fill somebody's emotional, cup, you got to figure out what it is that they need, what moves them. And look, I say, do them all. Look, do them all and see which one she likes best.
Absolutely. Now, granted, everybody is different. And that's the beauty part of life.
Yes.
That's the beauty part about relationships and dating as a whole, right?
Hey, hope you're feeling the love in today's episode. We'll pick back up where we left off in a moment. First, we're excited to share that Tammy has a collection of self-love t-shirts, hoodies, mugs, and journals for you to express how much you love yourself to the world. From comfy hoodies to motivational mugs, there's something for everyone. While you're listening to today's show, feel free to browse the full collection at IamTammyNicole.com. Thank you, and without further ado, let's get back into today's show.
But what advice do you give somebody who is tired of the dating scene, who's looking for something deeper and just can't do it? Like, it's not that they can't. So let me not say can't. They're just not attracting it. They're not identifying it, but they tired.
Yeah. So for one thing, yes, there is a such thing as dating burnout. There's a time that you should take yourself down and just give yourself the thing you desire most. You want to be flown out, fly yourself out to the place where the thing is happening. One time, back when we was on Clubhouse, remember we used to be on Clubhouse?
Oh yeah.
and there was a lady who said, she says, I just got divorced, and I'm ready to just live my life. And she really, she was asking this same question, but I'm tired. I can't meet anybody. This, that. And I looked in her profile on Instagram. I said, oh, she's into Zumba. She's the, and so I asked her, I said, do you love Zumba? She said, oh my God, I love Zumba. I could just do Zumba all day, all night. I said, okay, why don't you fly yourself, find out where the big Zumba conference is going on. I guess they created it, I don't know, in Brazil or they in Miami or somewhere, right? Find out where the big conference is and go there. Right. And get in the environment and just let yourself go. I'm talking about dance like like a wild one. Just go crazy with it. Just have fun. You'll be in that environment. You're gonna meet somebody in that environment who's gonna be a good fit for you. Somebody's gonna see your energy, your zest for life, and they're gonna want you in their life. Okay. So I think sometimes we have a lazy dating strategy.
Ooh.
We want everyone to come to us and be delivered like DoorDash. Right? We want love delivered like Uber Eats. Yeah. And it's just not that way. You have to be an active participant in your own rescue.
That's what these apps are for. I'm actively swiping right and swiping left, and I'm just,
you know, like you got to put yourself now. I love it. Like I told you, I love the apps and all of that, but that's only one strategy.
Yeah, you got to get outside. I was just remember I talked to you a few weeks ago, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna come to one of your events. He does events, guys. He, try to get people matched up by having live events.
Yes.
And I said, well, I'm gonna come because I'm getting to my tired zone real quick. And I think for myself that I'm getting to the tired zone because I'm also seeing the empty nester syndrome happening. It's like these kids are getting ready to get out of here, and I'm about to be by myself for real. And I'm like, I don't want that. I don't, you know what I mean? And so I'm intentionally out here dating. But the other part that I think for us as women, as a Christian woman, I'm still a believer that, a man that findeth a wife findeth a good thing. So I'm also not out here, quote unquote, trying to find him. I'm trying to attract him.
Yes.
And I think that that's, a big difference.
Yes. But then you have to,
but then available for the attraction to happen. I get it.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. And you, if I want to, I hate to use this analogy of fishing, but if I want to catch a certain kind of fish, I have to have a certain kind of bait, right? I have to know something about what that fish likes, right? And I see sometimes these long lists, and I have female coaching clients, and I see these long lists of all these things, and my question is always, okay, this guy, are you what he's going to want?
Yeah, absolutely.
And usually, look, their face is like, like stunned, like it never even crossed their minds that you just described a certain kind of man. Are you what he wants?
Right.
And
absolutely.
That's a different thing.
Yeah, because it goes both ways.
It does.
It goes both ways. And I think I'm not a believer of lists, FYI. I'm not a believer of lists. I am a believer of qualities, though.
Okay.
And so
a list of qualities. Okay.
Yeah. But I'm saying it's like I don't have that whole what I call the standard list of, he needs to be tall, he needs to be this, he needs to have this kind of a bank account, he needs to have this no. What's the quality of him? Mm-hmm. Like the core of him. Mm-hmm. I have a coined phrase that says fall in love with his character, not his behaviors, because who he is, you know what I mean, is the thing. I think a lot of times we're talking about this love bombing era that, people are love bombing, and I don't say men are love bombing. I say people because women do it too.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
I'm not a fan of the whole gender specific when it comes to the negatives of things. As you have women narcissists, you got men narcissists, you got men that ghost, you got women that ghost, you got, what I mean? Like the negativity lies on both sides of the fence. Mm-hmm. So I just think that people in general, right, have to have the qualities that they are trying to attract.
Yes.
They need to possess them and not just be looking and searching for other people to have them.
Yes.
And it starts with you, right? Period. Everything starts with you. You can't expect, you mentioned fly yourself out. Like, I'm a believer in providing myself the dates, the quality of dates that I desire a man to provide to me, to myself.
That's correct.
Because how do I set a standard if I don't have a standard?
That's a fact. You have to create the pattern, like the dress that you wear. That dress, it started off as just fabric, right? But then somebody sat down and created a pattern. And then the dressmaker said, oh, well, here's the pattern. I don't even have to wonder if the arm goes this long or the dress should be this short. It's not all cocked to the side and upside down. It's a pattern that has been already set. So the dressmaker did just cut around that pattern. And now you have the dress. Without a pattern, there's no proper dress. It just no pants, no shirts, no nothing. Everything starts with a pattern. So
absolutely,
you have to create the pattern. This is what we do as coaches. Like, we help them create a pattern, an avatar. Who is that person? I ask, who's the guy who's most likely to be a good partner for you? Just describe him for me. Just give him to me. Like Simon says, he's here. You know. And then we can talk about, okay, well, now that we have an avatar, tell me about these people you dating. Tell me, and everybody you bring me that we're going to talk about, I'm going to write down this pattern to see if he is this guy.
In alignment.
Alignment.
And 9 times out of 10, he's not. And 9 times out of 10, he's not. Nope. And the reason he's not is because we have learned to settle for just a piece of the things that we desire. And it's always, and again, to me, that revolts back into self-love, right? And it revolts back into self-love because it's more so of, if I'm only settling for the piece, that means I have decided within me that that's enough. That what that piece is enough to give me, versus saying, no, I desire and deserve all of the things that I provide to myself from someone else. And I'm not taking your piece. That piece can go back to whatever puzzle you had that's missing it. Because I need the whole piece. I need the whole pie. I don't just need a piece of it. You know what I mean?
But you know what? Before you get there, Tammy, you got to give this thing enough time, right? And when I say giving enough time, meaning like not being so fast to jump into to consistency of dating. Like we talking about dating versus courting, right? and getting to the courting stage where there's these expectations and all this stuff before you've given it enough time. So I got a coin phrase for you, Tammy. Time never lies. People lie, but time never lies. Time will always tell you what you have.
Yeah.
If you give it enough time.
Absolutely.
But time never lies.
Yeah, you can't jump the gun by any means. But that phrase that says, when they show you who they are, believe them.
That's a fact.
It's also real.
That's a fact.
And so you don't have to show me that you're inconsiderate or inconsistent more than 5 times for me to say that's who you are. Fact. You know what I mean? Like, certain things, I think the time isn't so extensive. You know what I mean?
It's the quality of time.
It's the quality of it.
Not the quantity.
Right. Correct. The quality. So when we are talking about giving something time to maybe evolve or develop for it to be seen, I think a lot of times we don't do that as often as we probably should.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason behind all of that is 9 times out of 10, most people are dealing with too many people. And you can't give everything to 50 people at one time.
That's a fact.
You know what I mean?
That's that rotational dating.
It's that rotational dating. But everybody's like super big on it. You know, you hear people, oh, what is it? Ace metaphor. He always say, date them all, sis. Don't be out, you know, like women learn to date more than one guy. Men are dating more than one woman. You have, as a woman, should be out here dating more than one guy. And it's like, yeah, no. I'm sorry. Like, I hear it, but it's like, not for me.
No.
Now, granted, it can be for other people.
Yeah.
And by all means, if you got that skill set, more power to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't do that.
You can't say good morning. Good morning. For
six different times. Yeah, no. I mean. Now, granted, I just feel like the intentionality gets lost in the sauce because you can't. I mean, it's like you need a Google sheet.
Yeah.
You need to write their name down. Yeah. You need to write which questions you asked. You need to write which answers they gave. Like, it becomes more of a business transactional process than a genuine connection flow. Like, be smart.
Yes.
Because you're being intentional. But at the same time, just go through what you need to go through to weed out who is not for you.
Yeah.
And then go to the next person versus having to, they need to be in competition. Yeah. Who's going to win my heart? Who's going to win this? Like, this is like, it's not a game. It's life, but it's not really that big of a game.
Yeah. No,
you're making it one.
You're right. And I think ignoring these red flags is key. Right. If you ignore the red flags, I know one lady, I just happened to end up in conversation with her, and she said, you know, she's now got like 4 kids, four baby daddies, you know, she's just not ready. Right. And I asked her, I said, well, how did you meet your one of your baby daddies? Yeah. She said, well, I'll tell you how I met the second baby daddy. I was in an argument with the first baby daddy, and we was getting ready to get into a fist fight. And he jumped in and came out the store and saw us arguing, and he said, "Hey man, he saved me. He saved the day." So he said, "Well, here's my number. Call me." So he called her. They on a date, and she was in his bed by the end of the night. And that's how they started their relationship. And now he's a baby daddy. He's one in the lineup. So it's so. I mean, you hate to call somebody a walking red flag, but sometimes people are, and you have to be.
But I immediately think that person's not healed.
It's a fact.
A lot of times we create patterns. We talked about patterns, but when you are unhealed and just roaming the street, you are not going to cultivate something like amazing just roaming the street unless you run into that healer, right? You run into the healer and you are able to say, hey,
and you're ready to be healed.
He sees that part and that they see me, right? Because when a person finally feels seen, I think is the igniter, the ignition that starts the desire of, wait a minute, they see me for real. They see me completely naked through the flaws and they still want me. Maybe I need to listen. Maybe I need to just a little bit. Not you may not even listen a whole lot, but it just me just a little bit. And then when you listen a little bit, it's like, oh, okay, they're not running away after seeing that. They're willing to help work through that. So then your healing process can kind of start just a little bit. Then you'll say, okay, so, but until that type of thing actually happens, you ain't doing nothing but how the forest fires just happened in California. That's all you're doing is igniting a flame and letting it spread versus calming it down. and figuring out what is it that you need for you. You got to love on you first before you out here trying to love on other people.
That's a fact. No, that's a fact. That's a fact. And, when you seeing these red flags in people and, this, like you said, this is on both sides, men and women, right? To me, a red flag in the book, I talked about, one of my, I wrote a chapter called 5 red flags that you absolutely cannot ignore. and one of them happens to be like, watch how a person deals with other people who can't do anything for them. Right.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
The girl at the Burger King window, the person, maybe the waiter, maybe the guy with the valet guy. Yes, they're doing these light things, but if this person feels like they are superior to other people, right, they're going to feel like they're superior to you.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So it's all those little things. They don't want to. Another one was like they won't want to meet your family, right, or your friends. They don't want to have any, because they know what that means. That means we moving towards courting. We're moving towards getting something serious. And if I have to meet your mama, now I know somebody gonna say, well, this guy, he met my parents and it wasn't like that, and he met my parents and still. he was still a red flag. Okay, it's not 100%. Okay, we dealing with human beings, but for the most part, right? People know that if you get involved with a person's family, their friends. I heard a situation the other day where the guy said they went on a double date. He wanted to meet this woman, got to know her, and she said, "Well, come on a date with my girl and her boyfriend," mm-hmm. right? Instantly for the first date, they're already on the double date. So
now, that's a fear complex of safety.
Yeah.
For that person, they don't trust themselves to be by themselves with you,
mm-hmm.
and they need someone else to be around.
And so look,
that is a huge red flag.
That's a huge red flag, right? So look, that's a red flag. I'd almost say, if he doesn't want to be around your family and friends after getting to know you a while, that's a red flag on that person. But a person who has to have, I got the thumbs up, a person that has to have somebody with them, right? Because essentially the best friend is coming to evaluate you, mm-hmm. to see if if you're going to be good for her friend, and you're already on the spot before you even get to know her. No. You back away from
again. That's a sign that she doesn't trust herself. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That she doesn't have a great picker.
Yes.
That she's, that's 100% red flag all the way around.
Yes, indeed.
All the way around.
Yes, indeed.
So I definitely want the listeners to heed to the mm-hmm. information that has gone forth, because dating and courting are two different things, as we have already discussed. They are things that you should be mindful of, and take the process from dating to courting to exclusivity. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like it's a real process, and you should know what you want and need in both sectors.
Fact.
Not just assuming that you have taken me out on 5 dates, we are automatically exclusive. You mentioned something in the very beginning when we started talking about words. Men abide by what they say, not what they do. I'm just going to tell you, if nobody else tell you, men abide by what they say more than by what they do. And what I mean by that is, now granted, I can already hear the naysayers in the background saying that's not true. They'll do X, Y, and Z and won't and say something totally opposite, blah, blah, blah. Granted, watch everything, But if a man tell you he don't want a relationship and then he's turning around and still taking you out on dates, he's still not in a relationship with you because he don't want one. And he told you he didn't want
That's
one.
a fact.
And you think because he's taking you out on these dates that you're in one. You're not. Yes. I just want you to, that's what I mean when I say they abide by what they say and not what they do.
Yeah, we call that boyfriend energy.
Man. Boyfriend energy with situationship.
Yes. Behavior.
Vocals.
yeah. That's a fact. No, that's true. That's a fact. And but look, you said something that I think I want to say capsulizes all of this, that it really comes down to self-love. Right. And 100%. So if you invest the time, I've been talking a lot about getting into journaling and the getting that this is that emotional intelligence practice, right? Start thinking about what you're thinking about and writing it down.
Absolutely.
Tammy, I did the most amazing thing the other day. I have to tell you, I emptied another pen
from journaling.
Tammy,
absolutely.
I have never started a pen and finished a pen before,
man.
But now that I journaling is not something just that I do; it's a practice. It's literally something I get out of bed, do my thing in the bathroom, and then go straight to my table and I write. I turn the alarm on. It goes off 15 minutes. And then I give it 5 more minutes to wrap it up, and I've consistently done that. And the things that have come to my mind that I've thought about, and I've, things from childhood, things that happened last night, right? Powerful.
Yeah. One
of the most powerful exercises that you can do so that you don't have a lot of these issues of, should I go out with this guy again, or should I? A lot of these things that you're dealing with are because you're not investing in knowing you,
absolutely,
loving you, and taking that time to do that.
Absolutely. This has been a very powerful and exciting and fun conversation, Kelvin. I'm so excited that you joined me.
Yes.
If the people wanted to get in touch with you, if they're sitting in Atlanta saying, oh, I need to find my person and I definitely need to come to one of his hangouts, meetups is what you call them.
Yes.
How do they get in touch? How do they do all of the things to find their person?
Yes.
If they're doing it off apps.
Yes. Yeah. So we're hosting live events all around the city. And I got some coming up. February is we're just going to be on fire on February. Look, I got so many things going on. But it's all going to be found on my website, lovecoachatlanta.com. Love Coach Atlanta is my site on .com. If you like any of this talk, and you go on my site and go down to my TikTok, icon there and tap that, and there's a whole nother world of KTJ. I got about 500 videos over there and 300,000 followers on TikTok. So this content, it just goes on and on. But I'd be glad to have you at my live events. I got specialty events. Tammy, I'm doing stuff. I'm working on one event for 50 plus singles, like
that'll be awesome.
6 singles that are 50 years old and over. Because there's lots going on for 20-year-olds, but not a lot going on for 50 plus.
We need 40 plus.
Okay.
It's the 40 plus.
It's the 40 plus.
That's where we at.
Okay. Okay.
Because even on TikTok, it's like the 40 and up side of TikTok is where it's happening.
Yeah.
And so we need to start with the 40-year-olds.
Okay.
We over here in the stage of becoming empty nesters where, we got to find our people.
Yes.
Because we're going to be by ourselves real fast.
Yes.
Real soon.
Yes. Well, maybe you need to come and hit my line and we need to collaborate on something. You know what I'm talking about?
That sounds like a good plan. It sounds like
we've done it before. We could do it again.
We can do it again.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Well, you guys have heard where you can find him. You know where you can find me. But definitely, if you're still looking for coaching and things of that nature, send me an email at coaching@IamTammyNicole.com. Remember, love yourself so much that the love from others is a bonus. See you next week.
Peace.
That's a wrap on another episode of Loving Me Before I Love You. If you enjoyed today's episode, please take a second to show your support by subscribing and leaving a positive rating and review on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. Stay connected with Tammy. Make sure you're following her on Instagram and TikTok at Coach Tammy Nicole. If you like to work with Tammy or have any questions you'd like her to answer, please head over to www.IamTammyNicole.com. Until next time, always remember to love yourself so much that the love from others is a bonus.